The Golden Compass Introduction. This is my intro to the actual review of The Golden Compass. It was originally just going to be a blurb at the beginning of my review, but it ended up getting longer, so I thought I would create its own entry. Anyways, I would like to say a couple of things. First off, I have never read the book, and as such, I will not make criticisms on the movie for removing things from the book. If you've ever read a review of mine on a movie version of a book before, you'll know that I always do my best not to judge the movie on the book's merits. A book can do so many things that a movie is completely incapable of, and vice versa. So it would be ludicrous to judge a movie based on a book. I never understand people who read a book, love it, then wait in eager anticipation for the movie and proceed to soundly criticize every minute detail that was removed from the book. It's as if they were expecting the filmmakers to have the exact same vision of their beloved tale as they did, which to me just seems naive. I mean, that's part of the beauty of books. What you read, nobody else can have a duplicate experience of, and so that's why a movie should not be judged based on a book. Also, to criticize certain events that were removed from a book, e.g. Tom Bombadil being removed from LOTR, SPEW being removed from Harry Potter, is to ignore the fact that keeping things exactly as they were would have meant an interminably long movie. And if every Lord of the Rings book were made into an exquisitely faithful adaptation, we'd have, at the very least, a 40 or so hour epic on our hand. Probably more, too. Movies that are too faithful to the book often end up being a complete bore. Just look at the Da Vinci Code. What was an action-packed and riveting page-turner was translated into a dull yawn on screen. So anyways, if in this review I criticize the movie for not explaining this or not explaining that, and you've read the book, please don't tell me that, well, they explained it in the book. It's the movie's job to explain it and to figure out how, and nobody else's. A movie needs to be coherent in its own right, not based on the book. Secondly, let me address the controversy surrounding this film. If by now you believe stubbornly that the books are not inherently atheistic, well, I'm sorry, but what hole have you been hiding in? Most people, when giving examples as to why the Golden Compass should be boycotted, there are approximately 24,657,243,298,289 groups on Facebook right now. They quote this from Philip Pullman. I've been surprised by how little criticism I've got. Harry Potter has been taking all the flack. I'm a great fan of J.K. Rowling, but the people, mainly from America's Bible Belt, who complain that Harry Potter promotes Satanism or witchcraft, obviously haven't gotten enough in their lives. Meanwhile, I've been flying under the radar, saying things that are far more subversive than anything poor old Harry has said. My books are about killing God. Philip Pullman. However, with a little bit of detective work, check out this part that's conveniently left out. If we're talking on the scale of human life and the things that we see around us, I'm an atheist. There's no God here. There never was. But if you go out into the vastness of space, well, I'm not so sure. On that level, I'm an agnostic. That's not to say I disparage the religious impulse. I think the impulse is a critical part of the wonder and awe that human beings feel. What I am against is organized religion of the sort which persecutes people who don't believe. I'm against religious intolerance. Philip Pullman. What exactly does this mean? Well, to be sure, Pullman was being somewhat diplomatic in this note. If he outright said in an interview that he wanted to teach children that God should be killed for being oppressive, well, you can bet his book sales would drop somewhat. But the unquestionable fact of the matter is that Pullman is an atheist/agnostic, hates oppressive religions, and actually believes Christianity, the Roman Catholic Church specifically, to be such an institution. And his books are about killing God. He chose to write this book for children for a reason. When children are young, they are most malleable, and thus more susceptible to these kinds of influences. However, if you're worried about children being corrupted by this material, you are asking yourself the wrong questions. If they are young children, it is your duty to instruct them in your faith, and if you're worried about a book changing all that, well, what kind of parent are you? Seriously. Don't boycott the books. Read them together. Discuss them. Be a part of their experience. I haven't read them, but I have read virtually everywhere I've looked on the web that they are fantastically written books, some of the best since Tolkien and Lewis themselves. The filmmakers have claimed to tone down the religious symbolism in the film, but it is still very clearly there. I will not judge the film based on this. Besides, despite its killing God theme, the characters do exemplify courage, struggle to free themselves from tyranny, and love, which are characteristics we should all strive to achieve. If you hate this movie and the book for its anti-Christian themes, well, I'm sorry, but in my review I will not address them. Well, this has been a rather large introduction, but this is one of the toughest movies that I've reviewed in a while, so I thought it to be fitting. To boil it down to 2 points. 1, I have not read the book, and as such will not judge it based on the book. 2, I understand the books and the movie very clearly to be anti-Christian, and I will not judge them based on that either. Here, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my review of The Golden Compass.